So I'm here to talk about the stealing of the gold tractor. It's one of the craziest things that's ever happened to me personally. A lot of people think that I did it. I would be a top suspect, but let's just recap the whole thing, okay? So the golden tractor is the track trophy that we win at the Agricultural Classic. For video production, I helped a few students steal the golden tractor. We were gonna steal the tractor, make a video where we filmed it. We didn't know where it went, but then somebody stole it from us. And then nothing happened, and then this account was made, okay? So I don't know if you can see this. This is the Bandit, and it is Bandit from Bluey, which I didn't even know what Bluey was, apparently. And they released a video. The tractor is wrapped in a chemical suit and it is playing Non Je ne regrette rien, I think is how you say that. Yes, I have no regrets. Then we get a message from the Bandit. They were taunting me, the face of Buzz Media, Mr. Davis has lost his precious golden tractor. Don't worry, you'll see it again someday. And then it said, I will get the satisfaction of unmasking the Bandit if I can solve their riddles over the next month. And the first riddle was in Latin. It was non sum tus fin, which is, no, I'm not your end. But fin was spelled wrong. It was spelled like fin, like Huckleberry Finn. So it was, I'm not your Huckleberry, which was correct because they gave me this, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little green check mark that the Bandit gave us. Now, Mike Hathaway only has like 3 movies that he likes, okay? And one of them is Tombstone, where that line is said, and he talks about it all the time. So at this point, we had our first suspect, okay? But the problem with that is, Hathaway does not seem like somebody who would go out of his way in his spare time to like make a bunch of riddles and steal a tractor. So whatever, so now we had to wait. They told me the next Tractor Tuesday, the next riddle would come. So that first one was April 15th, which is tax day. The second riddle came, then we tried to bait them. So me, Gentura, and Parkin were working to solve this the whole time. And they tagged all 3 of us. The Bandit tagged us on Instagram, so that kind of made us the target. We set up the mini golden tractor as bait, and it was stolen and replaced with this little guy, which is another character from Bluey, I guess. I don't know what he is. I think he's a fox. And then they had then released a video where they threw the mini golden tractor in a trash can. And then I challenged them to the ice bucket challenge, and then they froze the tractor in ice. That was like a side note. Then, April 22nd, Earth Day, we got the next riddle. It was, who is my favorite composer? They suggested that there was going to be a hint at high jump. There was also a phrase in Latin. At the high jump pit, we found this letter from the Bandit. Also, it has an Albanian phrase at the end, mir fat, which means good luck from the Bandit. We also have the Latin phrase. The Latin phrase was, if you want peace, you have to prepare for battle. But the real quote is supposed to be, if you want peace, prepare for war. And then finally, after several days, we realized that the battle ropes are in the weight room. And so then we went to the weight room, and in there we found this cipher. And if you put the cipher over this, you could spell out the word elevate, although it kind of looked like they made a mistake between the word plot and vengeance, were both highlighted. So we checked the elevator, and in the elevator was this QR code. And when you went to the QR code, it said we were wrong. So then we went back, and Gentura figured out that it said elevate. And then if you put elevate into Google Translate in Albanian, that says elephant. So then we ran in here, and we checked the elephant. This is the Turner Bicentennial elephant that is on my desk. And in there was a QR code for a song by Bach. Now, Bach doesn't seem like it fits anyone, except if you know that Mrs. Labrie's maiden name is Bachler, and everyone called her Bach. So there we have Labrie. Labrie, a lot more, like, I could see her doing this. So now we started to have some confidence that it was Labrie and Hathaway. Chip Groover was a high suspect the whole time. How do I like my steak cooked? This was found on Gentura's desk. It is a keyed lock, and on top of it was a poem. It says, if you want the code, you have to solve these riddles. Life of Pi 14. That led us to a Life of Pi book that was in Rhines' room, where there was another one about finding what was lost, which was in the Lost and Found. In the Lost and Found, there was another riddle in this bluey bottle here. And then next clue will be key. Once you find it, you can look, but please do not touch. That was a don't touch sign in Parkin's room. This one says the quest continues. It won't be rock or paper. That will help you out, which led to the scissor lift. These kept going. And then at some point in here, I realized, well, this was a good one. It says impressive solving. You need to retrace your steps. Don't forget the trunk. Trunk, elephant trunk, back inside the elephant, another haiku. Or another poem. I figured out that these were haikus, which meant that the code was 575 because everyone knows what a haiku is. And in here was a YouTube link that led to a video about how to sear a steak. So at this point, I stopped talking to Connor C across the hall because he was clearly not trustworthy. And now we had 3 people. 2 weeks to go to the agricultural classic. The next Tuesday, 6 o'clock comes. There is no message. All day we're like waiting. 1:42 p.m. I get a message that says, sorry I took so long, I was tired. What's my favorite song? This one stumped us for a couple days until we went back and looked at the fact that it said I was tired, and we remembered that there's a tire on the practice football field, and inside the tire was this, but it was all taped up and locked with 2 locks. The only thing you could see on the bottom was this thing that says you're gonna need to find some keys. We ended up finding one on the Key Club bulletin board, and then we found a second one hidden under the keyboard in the music room. Weight room, press play track 2. There was a CD, and track 2 was Let's Groove. We always suspected him, Chip Groover. Especially because like the wording of the Bandit was like the playfulness of a Chip Groover, you know what I mean? Now we have 1 week to go, and we felt like we had this pretty solved. The last one should be the location. They didn't do Tractor Tuesday, they did Thursday instead. The riddle was, what's my favorite kind of candy? I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. Also, what we do in life echoes in eternity. So this was sent to me. Meanwhile, Gentura has this long riddle. Now, you can see a lot of writing on it is ours, but it's got like lowercase, uppercase letters bolded. There's numbers over here, like just insanity. And Parkin says, either there's a serial killer in the school, or I have another clue, because he's got this head under his desk. Now the head has got different colors on the chin, nose, eyes, ears, and on the bottom, there was like this symbol with lines that we couldn't figure out. Mr. Shaw was also helping me a little bit here. So Shaw and Rhines were helping me, and they both promised me that they were not involved. Shaw pointed out the quote, what we do in life echoes in eternity, is written on the quilt in the gym, like in the lobby outside the gym. From there was a video that said the 5th horseman reveals himself. So now we thought we were done. There's obviously a 5th person. That was from the movie Now You See Me. When you put Now You See Me in the blanks, it filled in the word nose. There was also another riddle that was in Latin, and it was, thirdly, there's the charm I never forget, which I figured out meant 3rd time's a charm. Elephants never forget. Went back to the elephant again. There was this cipher with all these different colors, and you could run it over it, but that didn't make any sense. I tried to use ChatGPT the whole time. That was no use. But when we did just the nose colors, it wrote out. So the yellow was 4, 7, N, 6, V, 4, 3, Q, G, E. And then this is guessing that those were letters of the alphabet, but then we also thought maybe 47, and then like maybe these letters were a break, so 47, 6, 40, 6, 4, 3. QG is what people call Qasim, so I thought maybe that was him, so I searched his locker, but that wasn't it. Then we checked the periodic table. 47 is AG. We thought agricultural classic, but these ones didn't line up. Then Parkin puts this into YouTube, and it led to a video.
Here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have: patience. Sometimes patience is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing.
Yeah. So we thought we'd solve something, but it was taunting us. That is a scene from Spider-Man Homecoming. He noticed that if you took the first letters, this was now getting a little bit scary. It was like getting close to the end. He realized this was Tuesday and the track meet was Thursday. The first letters could be unscrambled and it could spell the word homecoming, which meant the video actually wasn't a false hint. It was homecoming. And then we figured out that if you take homecoming, you look at the numbers and you respell homecoming, it came out with a phone number, which was 207-320-8268. We called that number and it didn't work. Then that was it for the night. The next morning, the day before the track meet, we were searching the school again, getting a little bit desperate. Ventura calls us in to his room because there's an alarm noise going off in his room, and he doesn't know what it's from. It was from this burner phone. So there was a burner phone, which that was the correct number. In the burner phone, there were two pictures. One was the track shed, where it was located, and one was a note from the bandit saying that the alarm was set in case we couldn't figure out how to get the phone number so that we could find it. Well, Bandit, you actually screwed up because the phone didn't work. Go to the track shed. There's sitting a box of candy on top of the tractor. It is bags of Swedish fish. If you remember, the riddle was, what's my favorite kind of candy? So like, oh, it's Swedish fish. But if you opened it, there were not Swedish fish inside because that was a red herring to throw us off. Inside were watermelon Sour Patch Kids, but they were cut up and made into little letters. And the only part of the watermelon left was the rinds. The letters spelled out rinds. Kyle Rines, who, if you'll recall, promised me he was not involved. So now we get Groover, Sear, LeBreed, Rines, and Hathaway. There's this thing. I accuse the five of them. They deny it. Rines was like, I've been set up. He claims the whole thing is fake. So now we have the tractor back. I solved the riddles, as the bandit suggested. There was nothing. I had the agricultural classic meet, which was very frustrating. The day after the agricultural classic meet, I find this in my house. In my house. The bandit was there. Who was in my house? Who has the time to do this? Who could be behind this whole thing? I confronted LeBrie. She says it's not her. Sears says it's not her. Groover says it's not him. Ryan says it's not him. Hathaway didn't even know what we were talking about. And I start to think, who has the time? Who has the spare time to arrange this whole thing? You know what a lot of people thought? Do you know what a lot of people thought? They thought it was me. They thought I was making up my own thing for myself, that I made my own account and I was messaging myself.
I thought it was you.
You thought it was me. But you know what? Someone was crazy in doing that, but I'm not the crazy one. You know who the crazy one is? It's you, Will Parkin. You're crazy. He solved some of the riddles that he made up in his spare time. Also, I didn't even mention this little detail, that when we found the tractor, the bandit account disappeared from Instagram while I was standing with Parkin because he had his wife delete the account at that time when he knew it was going to be happening so that he had an alibi. And that's the end story, is Will Parkin. He was crazy.
And we saw that he played the bandit song at the meet.
He did play the bandit song at the meet, which really was what gave it away. And here's the golden tractor. Mystery solved, bandit solved.